You cannot change others, but you can change yourself. Today, I want to tell you a story about self-growth and enlightenment. In this world full of miracles and challenges, everyone is the protagonist of their own story. We often try to change others, yet we tend to overlook the most important point. Change starts with ourselves. In a small town, there was an ordinary young man named John. He was a self-conscious and sensitive person, longing for understanding and acceptance from those around him. However, reality often left him feeling disappointed and helpless. Whether it was his neighbors or co-workers, they seemed to harbor inexplicable prejudice and misunderstandings toward him. Whenever John tried to explain or communicate, he was met with indifference, mockery, or even more misunderstanding. This made him feel isolated, as though the whole world were against him. At night, when the town fell into silence, John often sat by the window, staring blankly at the starry sky. His mind was filled with doubt and confusion. Why could he never gain the understanding and acceptance of others? Had he done something wrong? Yet, no matter how much he reflected or blamed himself, he could find no answer. One day, John decided to leave the town and take a walk in the forest to find inner peace and answers. He walked along the winding path deeper into the forest, breathing in the fresh air and feeling the tranquility and harmony of nature. Suddenly, he heard a voice.
"Young man, why are you so troubled?"
John looked around in surprise and saw an elderly man with white hair sitting under a large tree, smiling at him. The old man was dressed in a simple robe, his face weathered with age, yet his eyes revealed wisdom and depth. John hesitated for a moment, then gathered his courage and spoke.
"Old man, I am very confused. People around me always seem to harbor inexplicable prejudice and misunderstanding toward me. I've tried to explain and communicate, but it always ends in failure. I don't know what to do."
Young man, you need not blame yourself or be confused. In this world, everyone has their own viewpoints and opinions. We cannot change the thoughts and attitudes of others, but we can change ourselves. When you begin to change yourself, you will find that the world around you will change as well.
John looked at the elder in confusion, and the elder continued.
Let me tell you a story. Once there was a young boy who always felt he wasn't good enough, constantly worrying that others would mock him. He became increasingly introverted and self-conscious. One day, he met a wise man. The wise man told him, "You cannot change how others see you, but you can change yourself. When you begin to accept and improve yourself, you will find that others will start to respect and like you." After hearing the wise man's words, the boy started to change himself. He began to accept his flaws and stop worrying too much about what others thought of him. Gradually, he became more confident and started making many friends. In the end, he became a person who was respected and loved by others.
After hearing the story, John fell into deep thought. He realized that the elder's words had struck his heart like a lightning bolt. He decided to try changing himself to free himself from inner confusion and pain. From that day on, John began a journey of self-exploration. He stopped worrying too much about the opinions and judgments of others and started paying attention to his own inner needs and feelings. He learned to listen to his inner voice, understand his desires, and pursue his goals. John began trying various ways to explore his inner world. He read many books and articles, learning about psychology, philosophy, and self-growth. He also attended various lectures and seminars, engaging with like-minded people to exchange ideas and learn together. Through this process, John gradually discovered his own strengths and talents. He realized that he was a person with potential, but that his confusion and pain had previously held him back. He began to use his talents and potential to create a better life. At the same time, John also learned how to face his fears and anxieties. He no longer avoided or suppressed his emotions but bravely confronted them and sought solutions to his problems. He learned how to adjust his mindset and emotions, becoming calmer and more confident. As time passed, John's inner strength and resolve grew. He was no longer swayed by external distractions and temptations. Instead, he maintained independent thinking and judgment. He learned how to get along with himself, accepting his imperfections and flaws. When John began to change, he noticed that the world around him also began to change. His colleagues started to reassess him, no longer indifferent or mocking him. They began to respect his opinions and ideas, and a more harmonious relationship was formed. John's neighbors also began to look at him differently. They saw that he had become more kind and helpful, always willing to assist others in solving their problems. They started to develop a closer connection and friendship with him. Even those who had once held prejudice or misunderstanding toward him began to change their views. They realized that John was a trustworthy and respectful person, and they began to establish more equal and friendly relationships with him. As John continued to grow and change, he gradually became a respected and loved person in the town. Through his actions and attitude, he influenced those around him, encouraging them to reflect on and change their own behaviors and attitudes. John's story spread widely in the town, becoming an example that many people looked up to and learned from. John's story teaches us, we cannot change others' views and attitudes toward us, but we can change ourselves. When we begin to change, we will find that the world around us will change as well. Let us bravely face our inner selves and change our behaviors and attitudes. Thank you all for watching and supporting. If you enjoyed this story and found it inspiring, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more stories, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.